Hello, everyone. We're out there. My name is Stevio, and welcome to Choices That Matter, text-based game. So this is a game that had a pretty high rating. It had a 4.5 on the Google Play Store. Hold on, real quick. I'm under my blanket right now because it's only 4, and it's not dark where I am right now. So, under the blanket, make it more spooky. Okay, I loved my sister. I didn't know. Got my microphone. I said the words my mother said after my grandfather died. The old speech was strangely easy for me to say, even though I didn't understand the words. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Later, much later, I learned what they meant. Give your soul to me, and I will carry it, and I will carry it in my heart of hearts. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Family members being obnoxious. Okay, give me your soul to me, and I will carry it in my hearts of hearts. I will carry you all my life. I will carry you to the other land. My God, this blanket is small. That was the day I discovered I had the gift. That was the day I ate my first soul. Oh, it's going to be one of these games. 1 week later, I kissed my mother and left Skulldale to make my own way in the world. I left mother alone. It wasn't just because she asked me to, but because I was a coward. I traveled alone for the same 2 reasons. Hold on. There, sorry, my mic was tangled in my mic. Every so often, I encountered a soul. Oh, wait, no. I have no idea what that word says. I know I'm stupid, but I have freaking terrible reading skills. A soul eater powerful enough to... Oh, yeah, I countered. Okay. Enough to see that I carried 2 souls instead of 1. They always knew instantly that I was a soul eater. Shrinking my... What game is this? Whenever it happened, I'd walk away, and my mother had told me to. What? I walked from one side of Pruden to the other. Okay, it is super humid in here. I don't care how light this is. I'm sorry, guys. Holy Christ. Yeah, it's just that sun, dude. Okay, here. You know what? I'll just take my face off. No one wants to see that anyway. Turn off. There. There. Okay. I walked from one side of Britain to the other and back again. I'm so sorry, guys. It is so humid in this house. Unfortunately, I couldn't walk away from myself. From the silver coin my mother gave me, a coin marked with the circling frame emerald of the Soul Eater. What is this? It was more than silver, more than a symbol of my duty. This game sucks, dude. Like, I am so confused. What's this ticket? No. Watch ad for 3 tickets. Why would I want to do that? Okay. It was more than silver, more than... Okay, yeah. More even than a constant reminder of the complicated relationship between mother and myself. It was one of Europe's rare pieces of magically activated metal. As activated silver, it enhanced my body's own ability to heal. I'd swoon a tiny pocket into the inside of my leans at the hip and kept the coin there, where part of the metal touched my skin. I kept walking from town to town, working, hunting, or begging for my keep each day. As a soul eater, I had natural affinity for healing, which often helped me earn a few meals, especially since it was helped along my by my magically activated silver. Okay, you thought you'd be able to hide forever. You always knew your family was too well known for you to hide for long. Yeah, probably. Mother was wrong. I couldn't hide forever. Mother wasn't often wrong, and it threw my world sideways when she was. Great one, the woman in front of me said again, louder this time, snapping me out of my memories. I bit down on the urge to tell her not to call me that. If she wanted to honor an untrained, pimply-faced, stranger younger than her dead son, that was her right. What is this? Please, Great One, she said again. There is no one else here who can perform the soul-eating rites for the newly dead. Please carry my child to the other land. I've never studied at the soul school, I told her. I don't know what to do. She blinked, wavering, and for a moment I thought I'd escape my duty one more time. Our Great One is yet to be replaced, she said. You are all we have. Please, I said. What if I die? I cannot find the path to the other land. That is the best question. Nonsense, she said, suddenly finding herself on familiar theological ground. Yeah, that is nonsense. That's not a sentence. What if when I die, oh, okay. If when. Excuse me, I'm dying? Suddenly finding... Okay, all soul eaters know it when they see it. Besides, I most certainly will not carry my son's moldering corpse to London to beg for aid there. I wasn't sure whenever the begging or the desperation was more disturbing to the famous lady mayor of Hollowvale. Perhaps it didn't matter. Instead of meeting Mayor Valley's eyes, okay, I stared at the young man, Adam Valley, who'd run a full of a wild boar and died of his wounds. Oh. And wash him and just clean. What is this game? The mayor's house smelled warm and old, like the rotting floor of the forest creeping down the hills all around us. Okay, so obviously this is much different than I thought it was going to be, so don't take this so seriously, okay, guys? The dead man was laid out on the largest flat surface, the kitchen table, or the floor. His own bed lines had become his shroud. Eat him, said Mother. Eat him, said Mayor Valley, low and fierce, or I'll make you regret disobeying me. Eat Adam. Sure. Alright, I said, I'll do it. The silver coin hidden beneath my shirt, warm. I try to hide my shirt. I use an form of magic, but especially do the rare magic assuredly found in certain metals. Mayor Valley wasn't paying any attention to me. She opened her son's shroud without flickering at the wounds. I stood and rested my palm on the dead man's bare chest, wondering if I still remember the words. Touching his body was like touching a wax figure. I shivered and closed my eyes. Oh, the old speech filled my mouth as if it never left. Give your soul to me, and I will carry it in my heart of hearts. I will carry you all my life. I will carry you to the other land. Autumn Valley's soul crept up my fingers, heating them with a gentle warmth that increased quickly until I cracked open my eyes and wasn't sure, and to be sure I wasn't burning alive. Something like a spark jumped from his skin to my fingers, and the pain spiked. Mother Valley grabbed my arms and held my hands to her son's chest by force. The searing pain settled and faded away to nothing. I felt a brief sense of heaving on the left side of my chest, and then my body felt perfectly normal once more. It had worked. I'd eaten Adam's soul. This game is weird. I stepped away from the body and gave Mother Valley an awkward bow. She had the bearing of someone who liked to be bowed to. That was weird. The magically activated tin panel on her door pinged loudly to indicate the arrival of a friendly visitor, but Mrs. Valley didn't move. Her maidservant hurried to answer it, scrubbing her face with her hands in an effort to hide the tears lingering there. Whoa. She turned a much more discourteous fashion to announce a Miss Mary Valiant. My late sister's child, said to me, and nodded permission for the maidservant to show her in. That's weird. The woman who came in was my age, wearing a linen smock and carrying a basket of fresh bread. She greeted her aunt and then paused as she realized she couldn't set the basket down on the kitchen table. After a moment's hesitation, she opened the wooden cupboard and put the bread inside. Turning back, she touched her dead cousin's arm gently, as if to wake him. I kept my mouth shut with a supreme effort, knowing I lacked the people skills to give her any comfort. She smiled at me, as the tears on her lashes were nothing but an illusion. My father has prepared a bed for you, she said. And we've plenty of food for a stranger who's done all as much kindness. Call me Mary. I'm not the one for formalities. Nonsense, Mary, said Mayor Valley, moving towards me as if to grab hold of my wrist before I escaped. The Great One will stay with me. Each woman turned her steady gaze on me, and I released. They were waiting for me to choose. I had to disappoint one of them. Thank you, Miss Mary, but it seemed I already settled here. I won't trespass on your grief any longer, Mayor Valley. Yeah, sure. I gathered my few possessions ready to leave with the informal Mary. Yeah, Mayor Valley seems like a psychopath. Yeah, see? Mayor Valley was visibly furious. She took out a loaf of bread and began sawing it into chunks on the bench without releasing me from her glare. Mary casually walked in front of her and offered to slice the bread. Mayor Valley put the bread away at once, but kept hold of the knife. Mary said her goodbyes and led me away. Yeah, let's leave. I was desperately relieved to escape Miss Valley's fury. Yeah. Oh, 48%. Okay. I hope you don't mind, Mary whispered as we walked to her home, catching glimpses of the coal refining chimneys between the other houses. Most people find Aunt Faye a little overwhelming. I'm grateful, Miss Valiant, I told her, feeling lighter already. I told you to call me Mary. That's how I wanted to say it. She said, and then smiled. After all, we're practically family now. And not really. Mary showed me upstairs to a room that was clearly her own, saying she would take the floor in her father's room. Okay. I don't need a bed, I said, embarrassed. Usually I could sleep on the ground. You could sleep on the floor where if you wish, she replied. It's part of the room after all. Oh, and you can adjust the floor vent just here. I looked where she pointed and saw a mist rising from the floor. My kitchen's engine's underneath, she said. I have a jury-rigged power loom attached to the stove. Then I drilled through the floor because, why not? Because that's retarded. For the first time, I noticed the grease under her fingernails. I'm sorry, I said, about your cousin. She smiled that smile again, holding herself together as a gift to me. What about you? Do you have a family? A home? Tell her about your sister. I want to learn more about the sister. Eveline and I were hunting rabbits near our village. To my surprise, the words spilled easily from my mouth. I hadn't spoken Elephant's name aloud in years, but I still remembered how often I'd felt that she was a better shot than I was. Just thinking of her brought back the sharp smell of pine needles and rabbit scat. Ew, scat, that sounds weird. And my pride that our mother left us slit through the trees on our own. The wild animals already mature and fending for themselves. We were arguing as usual. I wanted to go home because it was getting dark, but she was too proud to return empty-handed. She slapped me, knocking her down. Wait. She slapped me, and that knocked her down? What? She wailed like a banshee, and I told her to shut her saucebox. What? Mary listened intensely, her eyes steady on mine and her lips slightly parted. We were distracted, I said, biting down on the urge to say it was all my fault. There was a bear. A bear, Mary's eyes flicked away, just for an instant, to the forest outside. The same forest that had claimed her cousin's life. It wasn't a bear, I admitted. It was the bear. My family has been hunted by the beast for generations. An albino that doesn't behave like a natural bear and has lived for far longer than any normal creature should. There was a moment of silence. She seemed to believe me, so I went on. You just ate someone's soul. I'm pretty sure she'll believe you about some bear. Eveline suddenly stopped crying, and I knew that what was there looking around. I cleared my throat. She, the bear, killed my sister. So quickly, so easily. Evie was so very still, yelling at me 1 minute, and then dead. She was just a child. You were just a child yourself, Mary whispered. Oh, you were just a child yourself. We've been stalked by that bear so long, my mother calls it Knox the Night. Funny, she didn't even try to eat Eveline. She sniffed her and then looked up at me. Look at me like it was disappointed by my reaction. My heart was pounding. I remembered those two intelligent red eyes. And then it went away. I don't know why. Mary's eyes were fixed on mine. I shrugged. I knew the words that soul eaters say, so I said them. Someone had to. And I was just mixed up, so I ate Eveline's soul. I sighed. A few moments later, I realized what I'd done. As soon as the official Great One tried to eat her soul himself, he'd know I was a soul eater. I ran home and told Mother everything. I said I had to leave right away, or the Great One would take me to the Soul School. Mary finally looked away. I've been a trader, hunter, beggar, and a bard, I said, but I've never eaten another soul until now. I'm glad, she said with a sudden spirit. I'm glad Adam has company wherever he is, even if the souls are just sleeping until they go to the other land. Like the king says, I'm still glad. I haven't thought about soul eating that way. I imagine Evelyn with another soul dwelling alongside her, and it comforted me. Thank you, said Mary, for telling me about her. She touched my arm lightly. I'm not sure I attended the funeral tomorrow. I'll attend the funeral tomorrow. What will I do? What will you do? I'll attend the funeral. It's a soul eater's duty. Mary made a face. It's the duty of a family, too.
I'm going to take my shirt off.
Oh my God.
Okay?
Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Hold on, let me put my headphones back on. Oh, shit. We're at 21 minutes. Shoot, okay. She shook her head. Death isn't meant to be easy. Oh, wait. I said, please don't come because of me. She shook her head. Death isn't meant to be easy. I spent a quiet day inside, thrilling at the threat of a roof under my head. A treat. The following day I woke with the sun as always, and the vent on the floor was already steaming. Okay, I gotta leave soon. I dressed and went downstairs knowing Mary was already at work on her kitchen engine. And that is where we will leave off. Hold on. Oh. In sync with Cloud. 6 choices made. Yeah, can I save? How do I save? Hold on, let me try something. She was stroking the stove. I stopped in the doorway rather than disturb her. Her face was lit up with the glow of the fire. The tears on her cheeks. I just can't save. It won't let me. Stone like jewels. She put a teapot on the boil. Then checked the connections of her machine. Tightening here. Oiling there. Before attaching the chains that set the power loom to continue weaving a broad sheet of pale blue cloth. Sighing in satisfaction, she sat on the wooden stool and tended to the loom as it brought the threads together into a whole. Can you make the tea? She asked me, without turning around. Father and I both have honey, but no milk. Of course, I said, and fetched a towel to transfer the boiling teapot from the stove into a block set aside from it. I poured 3 cups of tea and added honey. Mr. Valiant came downstairs and kissed his daughter as I was stirring the tea. Watch out, he told me. She'll have you cooking if you let her. I didn't know what to say, so I ducked my head and I hoped for the best. He laughed loudly and took his mug. Will you be joining us for the funeral? Mary asked him. He grunted. When the time came, Mary led him to the Soul Eater's place beside Mare Valley. The local church had burned the ground along with the previous Soul Eater, so the funeral took place in Hollowvale's open square, within sight of both the ruined church and the forest edge. Hollowvale sat at the center of 2 valleys, with houses sprawling comfortably into each valley, while leaving the center of the village camped between two sheep hills. Perhaps it was a political choice designed to pacify the once separated villages. The choice to keep a center village square meant that the graveyard was next to the church instead of behind it. I wondered how Olivero's citizens felt about having a graveyard in the middle of the most public area. Mayor Valley spoke briefly of her son, and okay, you guys can read it. Oh, she spoke. Yeah. I looked up and saw the bear. No. Whoa. She stood in the forest shadows on the far side of the fire, watching me with those red eyes. And can I save now? No, why? Okay. Funeral attendants lit the furnace inside the engine that would lower Adam and his buyer into the final resting place. I drew Mary deeper into the crowd and then looked back at the forest. There was no sign of Knox. I kept a sharp eye on the trees, but trusting the apparent relief. The funeral took time, as funerals should. Mary took a deep breath and went to stand beside her aunt at the graveside. The fire crackled slowly. Okay. You guys can pause the video and see that. Okay, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to hope that it saved, in case you guys want to see more, of course. But that was choices. Choices matter. If you did enjoy, make sure to like the video. If you haven't already, subscribe. If you are a subscriber and you haven't already, make sure to freaking do other crap. Nah, that's pretty much it. Man, my acne is bad. And, well, that's really it. Bye.